Suzanne Pred Bass has a personal connection to the fire. She's a descendant of two sisters, Katie and Rosie Weiner, who both worked at the Triangle factory. Katie survived the fire. Rosie did not. Suzanne knew her Aunt Katie, who'd lived until the 1970s.
It was always an event to see Katie. My mother was crazy about her. And she married Phil Lublina, who was a union president, so union activism stayed very alive in this family. In her later years, after Phil had died, she would come and sometimes stay with my mom. And on one of those visits, which probably was in the 60s, I asked her about the fire. She had grabbed the elevator cable of the last elevator to leave the floor. She was 16 by my family's accounting. She said she knew that that elevator wasn't coming back up.
Wow.
That that was her last chance.
The cable as it was going down.
She grabbed the cable, and soon enough so that she actually ended up landing on people's heads, because, you know, the top of the car was open.
Wow.
If other people tried to come down the cable and couldn't. So she was very fortunate, I guess, to have acted at that moment. And she had gone to this door and tried to get it open, but it was closed. And this is what doomed and was the reason so many of these people didn't get out. You know, of course, she had looked for her sister and couldn't find her.
Her sister was older?
Her sister was older. You know, I was not told about Rosie. I learned about Katie, but they were not going to tell me that I had a great aunt who had died in the fire in this brutal way. It was such a trauma for these families struggling for a better life here.
I can't help but notice some newer pictures around here. Grandchildren?
Yes, they are the love of our lives, and interestingly enough, they are very aware of the Triangle Shirtwaist Factory fire. Last month, they asked me to come to their youth program to come and speak about the Triangle, and Sebastian, my 9-year-old, presented with me. You know, he talked about Katie grabbing the cable and coming down the elevator. And he says to these other children who were listening really so attentively, she was a ninja.
I love the idea of a memory getting stronger rather than weaker over time.
Yes, yes. And you know, it's a strange irony. They're getting what I didn't get. They're getting the full story.